Hey everyone, welcome to You Can Automate. Today we are going to learn about XUI test automation that is specifically on iOS applications. Right, let's start with learning today. So as part of this particular entire tutorial, we are going to learn these things that is overview of the XUI test, what is the XUI test, right, and how to use it. And then we are going to learn about Swift programming. This is one of the programming language that basically getting used in the XUI test and how to automate the iOS applications using XCUI test. And then we are going to learn about how to design the entire framework using XCUI test, and so that we can have a complete end-to-end framework. Okay, let's learn what is XCUItest, right? XCUItest is a automation framework basically built by using an Apple, and it is basically used for UI testing of mobile applications, right? That is basically built on iOS platform. Say, for example, you have iPhone device, iPads, right? And you'll be having several applications. To test those applications, UI, right? The UI of that particular applications, we use a XUI test, and this particular XUI test is part of XCTest, right? Then what is XCTest? XCTest is a unit testing framework which is basically used by developers, iOS developers who is developing the Apple applications. They'll be using this XCTest as a framework to write a unit test, and this XCUI test is part of that, right? So that's why we call it as a part of the XCTest. So this entire XUI test will be running on Apple MacBook, and we'll be having an editor called Xcode. This is where we are going to write our XUI test, and this Xcode will have a programming language called Swift. This is built-in programming language. No need to install it separately. And we'll have something called a simulator. This is a copy of the iPhone device. You can say like all the installation and all the automation we can do on the simulator. If you have iPhone device, you can directly do it on the iPhone device. But in this particular tutorial, I'm going to use a simulator. Now, moving forward. So let's know more about the XCUI test. XCUI test is Apple's native robust test automation framework, we call it as, because this is built by Apple itself, and this particular framework is being used for iOS applications, right? And it works only on the iOS applications, of course. And there are some benefits out of this XCUI test compared to other automation tools, right? It is easy to integrate, right? It is easy to integrate as it is part of the XC test, and XC test is part of the Xcode, so it is easy to integrate, and it supports the native language that is Swift and the Objective-C. Of course, the iOS applications also is built on the Swift programming language. So if we are using the same programming language to automate, it will be easy for us. And this also helps in reducing the flakiness very less maintenance effort. If there is any change in the code, then we can go easily change it. And compared to other automation tools, there is a less flakiness, right? Because this particular entire code is sitting in the same repository of the developer, and wherever there is a developer code, wherever there is an application code resides, in the same repository, we are going to have this XUI test. So we call it as a less flakiness, and it can be easily executed with the CI, continuous integration pipeline, right? Whenever we are having an application deployment, we'll be running this particular XUI test so that before even releasing this entire build to a QA, we are going to verify that whether functionalities, all the UI components, UI flows is working fine or not. And it also provides an extra feature that is recording. Say, whenever you are doing an action on the iPhone device or a simulator, you can record those actions and it will automatically generate a scripts out of it, which is in the Swift programming. Right? Later, we can go and change and modify the test case so that we can use it according to our need. So this is about XUI test. Moving on. Now, let's learn about the Swift. Swift is another programming language, just like a Java, Python, a C Sharp. Golang, right? It is just another Swift programming language, which is basically built for iOS applications, right? And it is a fast and simple to use also, and it can return multiple return values. There are more advantages of a Swift. Here I've added only few, right? We'll learn those things in future. And before moving forward, we need to know three important terms, three important class basically. Instead of class, I have mentioned here it as a terms. That is, first one is the XCUI application. So in the entire XCUI test, to refer the application, the app under test, we use a class called XCUI applications. This will help us to launch the application, terminate the application, or to monitor some of the performance of the applications, right? So this is the XCUI application. Another one is the XCUI element. This helps us to perform some of the actions on the UI element. Say, for example, if I want to click on any of the button, enter some text in the text box, right? All the actions can be done by using a XUI element class. There is one more, that is XUI element query. This helps us to identify the element, right? For example, if I have a button, how do I identify and how do I know the attributes of the particular element? Then by using XUI element query, it provides an interface between the element and the user. Through that, we will identify the element and do or some of the actions on it. Now, before starting with the XCUI test, we need to install the Xcode. Xcode is editor where this is where we are going to write all our test cases, and it will act as a text execution platform, right? There are many advantages of using Xcode. And how do I install the Xcode? Here I've provided the URL. This will point us to a Apple developer portal, right? If you just click on this URL, it will take you to a separate website. I will provide that URL in the description. You can just scroll down. If you have not signed up to this particular developer account, you can just go and create your own account. So that it's Apple account basically. You can just go and create an account, and once you create an account, you'll see all these details. So now, what we are looking for is we are looking for a Xcode applications. The latest Xcode version is 16. So you can see here a lot of different versions which got released and which are in a beta version, right? So I'm looking for Xcode 16. Even though I have a Xcode 16.1, I'm looking for a little stable version, that is Xcode 16 here. Okay, so this is Xcode 16, and once you click on details, you'll see a link to install. You can just click on this Xcode 16 so that it will start downloading the Xcode 16. So I've already have the Xcode 16. I'm just canceling the download operation. So it will take some time because it is a huge file. You can just wait to get it download. Once you get the download that, right, so this is how you will see it. Just double click on this file. It will extract the Xcode and start installing the Xcode. And once you open the Xcode, the installed Xcode application, right, this is how the window will appear if you're opening first time. It will ask for which iOS version you want, right? So as of now, I'm looking for iOS 18 because that is the latest version we have. And I've selected this checkbox at iOS in 18 and clicked on install. Once you click on install or download, this is how it will show up, like iOS 18.0 is getting downloaded into your Xcode, and it is a huge file. We need to wait for some time to get it installed. So once that installation completes, you will see that window goes off. Once you install the Xcode, I'll just open the installed Xcode and show you how it looks like. This is how the starting window looks like of the Xcode, and we are good to start with our programming and the XCUI test. This is about XCUI test, Swift, Xcode, and how to install the Xcode. In upcoming videos, we'll see more about XCUI test and how to write the actual test. Thank you.